Kansas State basketball. Here's the lineup for Kansas State. Number 11, Terry Sides. Replacing number 1, Diana Walker. Number 7, Tiana Key, her first, and the team first, into the lineup. For Kansas State, 12, Kennedy Taylor, and for Kentucky, number 17, Laura Silva, replaces number 7, Tiana Key. Serena Sundown. Number 32, Amelia Hassett is first, and the team first. We have a timeout on the floor, full media timeout.
We are in the process of sending a team to the Sweet 16, and Kentucky got off to a 7-0 start. Kansas State now is back to within 2. Hey everybody, Sam Gore along with Hall of Famer Tamika Catching. So Tamika, what have you noticed so far?
Well, what I love is Kentucky obviously started off really going toward the basket, clear strike, knocked down a couple of shots, and then Sundell. It is all about Sundell for Kansas State.
And we had a foul going into that last time out. By the way, thank you, studio team, for covering. We had some technical issues here in Lexington. Those have been worked out, and we're ready to rock and roll here in Lexington.
I don't know. I kind of liked hearing Coach Muffin McGraw.
It was good to hear that perspective. Yeah, it sure was. Taylor knocking down the free throw. And let's take a look at On the Floor, brought to you by Capital One. This is the same starting 5 that has started every game this season. Clara Strack has been inserted into the lineup. She did not start the games. Silva, number 17 in white, tallest player in Kentucky history, also on the floor. And a foul right away. Whistles are blowing here early in this opening quarter. So much on the line for these two teams. Kentucky looking for their first Sweet 16 since 2016, and Kansas State trying to go back for the first time since '02. And they will have the services of Yoki Lee, which she got a nice game in A couple of days ago, she had been out pretty much since January. Strack, her third bucket of the game.
Claire Strack has been so aggressive so far.
On the floor, brought to you by Capital One. These are the players that are out there for Kansas State. Lee got blocked. Best shot blocking team in Kentucky history is this one this year. It's also the tallest team Kentucky has ever had. Amor goes to the floor. Wow, she is a magician.
Georgia Amor struggled so far and really just trying to get her bearings together, and that's going to be a foul on Poindexter. A couple minutes ago, we saw Yoki Lee pick up her first as well.
And one for Strack.
And Strack just being really aggressive. Everything that she had done, she started off with a make from the three-point line, and then everything else has been at and around the basket.
Well, Clara Strack has had one of the best freshman seasons in the history of the SEC, not only Kentucky, the SEC's Defensive Player of the Year. I love this matchup. We've got two of the top point guards in the country, two of the top post players in the country. Look down low to Lee, and Lee with the finish. It's the first time they've been able to get a good look for her.
Well, Kentucky's had one player in front and one player in behind, and the rotation was off defensively. Lee recognizing it. And I think for K-State, when they get the ball in their hands, it's good. And Georgia Amor finally able to see the ball go through the net, her first bucket of the game.
She had started the game 0 for 3. First shot made by Amor, who had 34 points 2 days ago, which tied a Kentucky record in the tournament. But Yoki Lee, this is something that they did so well against Fairfield.
Well, look how deep she is in the paint. Both of her feet are really in the middle of the paint. She pushed Silva up the line, and when she catches it, one thing you notice is she does not bring the ball down. She keeps it up and goes right into her shot.
We were wondering, though, with Kentucky's height, if she would be able to have that same success today.
I think as the game wears on and you start to loosen up the defense from the Kentucky side, you might be able to get a couple of those looks.
On paper, Tamika, this looked like one of the best matchups of the tournament so far. Both these teams have spent time in the top 10 this season. The classic 4-5 seed matchup. Shot clock down to 6. Amor pulls the trigger off the rim. Glenn with a rebound. Glenn. Sundell, that's the other fantastic point guard in this game, and Sundell knocks down the 3 as well.
Well, Strack trying to figure out which player to defend. Do you defend Glenn or do you defend Sundell? And if I had to pick my pick, I'm going to guard Sundell, but she thought the defensive rotation was coming over, and it didn't.
Sundell, her 22nd 3 of the season, doesn't take a lot of threes. Hassett, the three-point shooting specialist for Kentucky.
Well,
knocks that down.
And that's a great sign for Kentucky. Amelia Hassett hit a couple back-to-back threes against Fairfield the other day, or against Liberty, the other day, and they need more of that.
Battle for the rebound. A jump ball called by our lead official, Kevin Thethel. Kenny Brooks, his first season as the head coach at the University of Kentucky, and has led this program to its biggest year-to-year turnaround in program history. He's a semifinalist for the Naismith National Coach of the Year. The Sporting News named him National Coach of the Year earlier this week. And another 3 by Sundell.
I love watching Sundell. We will see her play multiple positions in today's game. That's just the versatility that she has. And when you talk to Coach about where you can play her, he said, I can fit her wherever I need her, and that's what you need.
Amor short on the 3. Now Sundell, one of the more versatile players. 6'2" point guard, can fill a lot of roles at the next level. Tyler trying to stay with her. Silva switches, and then they had the mismatch down low, but Lee could not finish.
Lee trying to take that fadeaway jump shot, and she has the mismatch.
Off the mark by Tyler. Silva with a rebound. Hassett! 2 in a row for the Aussie.
Well, back to back, and you hear the fans going crazy. Kentucky needs other players outside of Georgia Amore and Clara Strack to have a good game. Clara Strack.
Well, we were talking earlier, Tamika, and you felt like this game may come down to the play of some of the players that aren't considered the stars of these two teams. The supporting cast of these two teams is outstanding.
Well, I think that's what you're looking at. And Clara Strack, number 13, and Georgia Amore have been leading the charge, but other players have to knock down shots. Sides had a great game the other day. Number 1, you had Poindexter, you had Walker, you had other players step up also for the K-State team.
Right now, Kentucky has 6'5" Strack, 6'7" Silva on the front line. Final seconds here in the opening quarter. And a foul on the drive. Michael Price calling that foul on Georgia Amore. Her first. Yanni Key up off the bench for Kentucky, as is Deja Lawrence. So Amore and Strack will get a breather. Two players that have contributed greatly to this fantastic season for Kentucky. They've set 10 single-season program records this year. Good D by the Wildcats, forces the turnover as Sides got caught up in the air.
Well, Sides thought she was going to throw it up to Yoki Lee. She thought she had pulled the help over enough, but great job by Kentucky staying man-to-man principle.
So Kentucky will get the ball back here, 4.2 seconds left in the opening quarter. This is where Georgia Amore is such a benefit, as she can get the ball up the floor in tremendous fashion. And time will expire. Tried to get it to Tiani Key, but Kentucky started the game on a 7-0 run, and then Hassett got hot. Millie Hassett from the land down under buried 2 threes in a row, and Kentucky leads after 1. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Plum, Candace Wiggins, and Georgia Amore. Let's check out how they are fueling the run, brought to you by Wendy's. Well, all 4 of them now have the distinction of being the only players since 2000 to score at least 34 points and 8 assists in an NCAA tournament game. Georgia Amore joined that list in the last game against Liberty, when she put up a heck of a game against the Flames. 34 points, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. She has been breaking records all season.
Well, it starts with just her leadership, and Tiani Key, if that's a call on her, that will be her second foul.
Offensive foul on number 7, Tiani Key.
And it is on Tiani Key, her second. Tiani Key fouled out of the game on Friday, and they were hoping to keep her out of foul trouble today. She is part of that fantastic post presence for Kentucky this year.
One of the benefits when you have a Tiani Key on the floor, she's another versatile player, and one of those that can bring the ball up the floor as Sundell continues to score at will. She scored on the outside, inside, driving it in. She is fun to watch.
Sundell 5 of 7 already. She's made 3 threes. That's a season high. And Amore, very rarely will you throw it over a 6'7" player's head. But Silva was on the way down.
Sundell right now, 13 points. You just saw her score the last possession down. And when you look at the numbers compared to the rest of the team, she had jump-started and kept the thing rolling.
Sundell had a triple-double earlier this year. That's her with the ball. 3 on the way from the corner, does not get the roll, and we had a foul inside on the rebound. And by the sound of the crowd, it's going to go against Kentucky. It's on Silva, and that is her second foul. The freshman from Portugal who came to the U.S. back in August.
Kennedy Taylor, number 12, did a great job of boxing out Silva.
3-pointer off the mark. Kansas State hit 8 threes in their last game. Big win over Fairfield. And a foul out near the free throw line called against Kansas State. And that's going to be on Jalen Glenn. Glenn, senior from Kansas City. Had a 10-point game against Fairfield. Jeff Minnie, head coach for the Wildcats of Kansas State in his 11th season. Back-to-back 26-win seasons for Kansas State. They've actually won 27 now and counting this year, but he's the 10th active winningest coach in the country.
I'll tell you what, it's fun to talk to him and just listen to his basketball mind. Love the passion that he not only coaches with and Claire Strack able to get that ball to fall, but not just the conversation that we have, and even talking about Yoki Lee and just her impact.
Good D by Lawrence. And Sides is trying to plead her case that it went off Kentucky, but official Meadow Overstreet not agreeing with Coach Mitty or Sides. Here's the play. This was Kentucky's ball as called. Lawrence hit it, and officials feel like it got a piece of Sides. It's Kentucky's ball.
You can't get everything right.
Strax had such a good start to this game. She can handle the ball so well, grew up as a guard. Lawrence penetrating, blocked out of bounds by Zia Walker.
Well, Zia Walker, we got a chance to listen to her in the press conference yesterday, and she was hyped about this matchup and being able to guard. She prides herself on the defense that she has, and you just saw a great block.
Oh, Strack left wide open. And the easy bucket for Clara Strack. That is her 13th point in this game. Strack had a double-double and fouled out on Friday. Good lob down to Lee. That's what they do so well. Yoki Lee out for the most part since January. She tried to come back in February for a game, but injured her other foot. And they are so happy to have her back, the All-American. And Georgia Amor knocks down her second shot of the game.
That's the first shot. I feel like with Georgia, she actually looked comfortable stepping into her shot. She's patient with it, and being able to see it go through the net always helps.
Back down to Lee, and the finish again. You just have to throw to space with Lee, right?
Well, Yoki does such a good job. She creates that space. When you look before she even catches it, she's already pushing Silver up to the free throw line. And then the help side not there. You're not there immediately, you're not going to catch it.
Lee gets the block. Kansas State in transition. Sides. Lost it going up, taken away by Amor. Amor to Deja Lawrence. That has been such an effective combination this year, and those two are on the floor at the same time.
Well, they always seem to know where each other is, and Georgia's got to feel like when she's looking side to side, she always knows where Lawrence is.
No, this time they tried to get it into Lee, and the D was too good. Strack and Silva collapsed on her. Silva got a block. She has set a single season record for blocks this year, number 13 in white. Stolen by Sundell. Sundell trying to beat Hassett. And Hassett commits the foul. Sundell will go to the line.
Sundell just so good. I mean, offensively, we can talk over and over and on about what she brings, but defensively does a good job of just getting her hand in the passing lane and getting it out to the offensive side.
Sundell, two-time All-Big 12 first-team selection. Only player in the nation this year with over 400 points, 200 assists, 125 rebounds, and 30 or more blocks.
Playing the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4.
She does it all. Well, coverage of the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TNT, TBS, and True TV. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Sundell also a champion in the classroom as well, getting her master's in business right now.
Not very often we see her miss both of her free throws.
No, Sundell, 79% free throw shooter this year. Strack trying to take Lee, and Lee got her on the arm. Second foul on Yoki Lee.
And that was definitely the game plan for Kentucky. When Lee is in the game, make sure you try to attack, and Lee trying to move her feet. When she swung down with that right arm, that's where she got that foul right there in the air. She would have kept going with her hands straight up. That actually would have been a great defensive play.
So Lee will get a breather. She only played 15 minutes in the last game against Fairfield, but still had a double-double. Speaking of double-doubles, Clara Strack had a fantastic game against Liberty, 15 points and 10 rebounds, and she's already off to a good start with 14 points and counting today. Make it 15. Just cannot wait to see her career continue here at Kentucky.
Well, Coach Brooks made the statement he was not very pleased with his post players. That's Tiani Keys, Silver Strack, and Amelia Hassett. And Strack is definitely coming to this game with more of an offensive mindset.
And so has Sundell. Sundell and Strack battling it out in terms of leading scorer in the game. Sundell and Strack both with 15. Amor probing. Nice pass to Tyler. Good D by Kansas State. Here's that matchup. Sundell against Amor. 3 on the way from Walker. Johnny Key with the rebound. That is one of the things that distinguishes this Kentucky post. They can handle the ball. Key and Strack can both bring it the length of the floor if needed.
Well, you got 5 players on the floor that can bring up the ball. I mean, that's definitely an asset to any team.
Strack, she made a 3 to start the game. That one was rejected.
Poindexter came out, great defensive play. You know, it's interesting when you look at what has worked for Kansas State. Obviously, number 4, Sundell, had been a big reason for the offense. But when they take their time and get the right movement, move the ball around.
Shot clock under 10. Sundell trying to post up Lawrence. Rifles the pass to the corner. Taylor with the offensive rebound, but traveled. The Kentucky Wildcats hanging on. 5-point lead. Always nice to hear all of you, but it is glad that we get to call the game now. Ready? Georgia Amor bringing the ball up the floor for Kentucky. The Wildcats looking for the first Sweet 16 appearance since 2016. Kansas State looking for their first since 2002. Strack forces it up. Sides grabs the rebound. You know who's going to win this game, Tamika?
A Wildcat.
Yeah, the Wildcats. Good call. Sides. Serena Sundell has been a huge part of the offense today. Look at the points she's been a part of. 83% of their scoring has been contributed by Serena Sundell, whether a basket or an assist.
Well, 15 points out of the 23 says a lot, and it's not just on the offensive side, it's on the defensive side, and a great drive. Tyler taking it right into Taylor's body.
Tyler, one of the players that stayed at Kentucky after the coaching change and has had a new role this year, and it has just been so heartwarming to see her and Kenny Brooks and that relationship grow, because obviously she was not a player that he was familiar with when he arrived.
Well, and you love to see players stay, but even just having to adapt to a new coach. And we were here earlier in the season when they were still learning each other, and just to hear Coach Brooks talk a lot and talk very positive about just her advancement and being able to use her in quality games like this.
Yeah, they meet for coffee in the mornings.
They talk about adult things,
yeah.
adult conversation.
She had a crucial deflection in that thrilling win over Liberty on Friday. Sundell backing into Lawrence, gets rid of it to sides, little sidestep 3. And the rebound falls to Strack.
Well, Silva did a good job tipping the ball to Strack, and Poindexter, that's going to be her second block.
She plays with such length, only 6'2", but a big wingspan. And Tyler gets called for the fouls. Let's look at this block again.
Well, it's the second one. 2 possessions before, she got the block on Strack on that 3-point, and look, she went under the screen and was still able to rise up with the person in front of her and get that block in the air.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk about our opening topic, Tamika, but what did you expect between these two teams? Because on paper, it looks like a fantastic matchup.
Oh,
and a foul called on Lee.
That's going to be her third foul because she just came in the game, and now Taylor will substitute back in.
Well, now with Lee going out, it's probably going to change the way the question I just asked you about what you expect.
Well, my expectation is that other players will have to step up. The stars will shine, as we've already seen. Sundell already with 15 points. Strack on the Kentucky side with 15 points. They're going to do their thing. Georgia Amore, I would expect to see her step up. But other players are going to have to bring not just offensive production, but defensively helping these players out.
Kentucky going with their big post presence now. Silva and Strack. Bounce pass to Silva. Good D again by Kansas State. What a good start defensively for Kansas State. Poindexter for three. Good. I love the reaction.
Well, that's Poindexter's first made field goal of the day. She was 1 for 6 going before that, or 0 for 6, excuse me.
Made a three on Friday against Fairfield. Amore. Georgia Amore again trying to get going. Misses the three. She's been off the mark with the three ball so far. But Poindexter has been so impactful on the offensive end and the defensive end for Kansas State. She's one of those players that we don't talk about as being one of the stars of the game that could very well impact this game to the point of winning it.
Well, she was a scorer before she came to K-State, and that's something that is one of the reasons they brought her here. They wanted other production around Yoki Lee, around Sundell, and now you're seeing what she's able and capable of doing.
The supporting cast in both these teams outstanding, and Poindexter, 2 threes in a row, both in front of the Kentucky bench.
We got a tie game right now, 29-29, and what I expected is happening. Other players stepping up and knocking down shots.
Kentucky's gone over 2 minutes without a bucket. They started the game on a 7-0 run. Amore, little fadeaway, that's short. Sides with a rebound. Good hustle by Sides. Up the floor to Taylor, and Taylor fouled by Tyler. And so Taylor, the recipient of that foul by Sanaya Tyler.
Well, let's just talk about this. Taylor beat everybody on the floor down the floor from the defensive end to the offensive end. She literally saw once K-State had possession, she took off right down the middle. Sanaya Tyler, there is nothing else she could do but foul.
Taylor was the Missouri Valley 6th player of the year last year, transferred to Kansas State. But both these teams are very fun, and they're a good follow on social media if you want to check that out. Kennedy Taylor is absolutely hilarious as a human being, and she knocks down those free throws. Kansas State fans on their feet here in Memorial as Kansas State has its first lead of the game behind this 8-0 run. Amore to Silva, knocked away. Scrappy D again by Kansas State.
Yeah, I don't like that pass to Silva. I think it's really hard when you have a 6'7" post player coming out to set a screen, and then you give her a bounce pass, put the ball in the air and allow her to go get it rather than having to go down where the rest of the defense is already hanging out.
1 second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Silva commits the foul over the back on Taylor. That'll stop the clock with 7.4 left, and that's the third foul on Silva.
You got Coach Brooks now has to figure out what he's going to do, because last game, Strack, Tiani Key both were in foul trouble pretty much all of the game and then fouled out. Now you're pretty much in that same situation.
Taylor looking good at the free throw line, a 78% free throw shooter this year, but she's been perfect today so far. Taylor, all of her points have been free throws, 6 of 6. Final seconds of the half. Lawrence, good! And Kentucky will end the half with an exclamation point, scoring that final bucket to draw within 2. Serena Sundell with 15 first half points. Georgia Amor, 5 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds. Now let's send you to our degree in the studio halftime coverage. Take it away, Kelsey, Muffet, and Megan. The Sweet 16 hangs in the balance between Kansas State and Kentucky. Once again, hey everybody, Sam Gore along with Tamika Catchings. And Tamika, Serena Sundell made more shots than her teammates combined in that first half.
Well, and much needed for K-State. They got off to a slow start, but Sundell was able to get things kick-started.
Let's take a look at our rewarding performance brought to you by Capital One.
It starts with Serena Sundell, and she's just done such a good job. Team was slow coming out of the gate, but when she stepped in, she knocked down some big shots to get this charge. And then, of course, on the flip side, Claire Strack, really a shining star. Both players with 15 points, but Strack able to knock it down inside out. We saw the three-pointer that got everything going.
Strack with the 15 points. The rest of her teammates scored 16 points. So Strack and Sundell very much the individuals shining so far. Kansas State assisting on 9 of their 11 makes. And the Wildcats of Kansas State have the ball first here to start the third quarter. The winner moves on to Spokane to face the winner of USC and Mississippi State in the Sweet 16.
And this is a different defensive set than we saw in the first half. Kentucky opted to go and start the game on a 2-3 zone.
Same starting lineup. Lee takes the feed. Remember, she was on the bench a lot of that first half with 3 fouls, but I know you feel like that's not as big of a deal for Kansas State as you might expect, right?
Well, no, and when you look at it, Aoki Lee has only been playing, this is her second game. She's been out since January, had a little bit of a stint in February, but they have learned how to play without her.
Key battling for that rebound, does a good job to get it back. Key will shoot the 3. Good! Tiani Key buries it from the corner.
And that is her first field goal of the game.
Only her 11th made 3 of the season. Again, just emphasizing the versatility of the Kentucky post players. Poindexter trying to answer, Hassett with a rebound.
Well, Kentucky have to be careful. They got quite a few players that are in foul trouble. We're sitting with 2 fouls right now. Aoki Lee, the only player on the floor with 3.
Lawrence had a little space and makes Kansas State pay. They call her D-Law, and Lawrence ignites the crowd here in Memorial. Kentucky back in front.
And look at down low, Aoki Lee posting up. They're trying to figure out a way to get the ball into her hand. Fadeaway jump shot, good defense by Strack.
Amor leading the break. Dumps it into Key, blocked by Lee. Key got it back. Good second chance effort there by Tiani Key. Amor missed the shot. Boy, Ziana Walker's done a fantastic job defensively so far.
Well, she just made it tough, and Georgia's used to being able to kind of bobbing and weaving and getting her way into the lane, but Aoki Lee wait for her at the basket.
She just makes it look easy.
When she catches it, she keeps the ball high. Whenever most post players, they bring the ball down and allows you to slap it out, but she does a good job of knowing where she is, going straight up.
Game just comes so easy to her at her size. And her agility, Hassett, that shot is partially blocked, went right to Strack, and Strack gets the and one off the miss. Foul on Glenn, her second.
Like what we are seeing from both teams. Aoki Lee, good job when she gets around the basket. She is hard to guard. But I like this offensive possession by Kentucky. They've just been scrapping.
And Lee will have a seat on the Kansas State bench. Strack will be at the free throw line. So 2 double-doubles in a row. Makes that free throw, and it's just pouring in the points today. 16 points for Strack.
With that made, Strack now has 18 points.
Sundell goes baseline.
Tiani Key, good to see her active so far in the second half.
Moore trying to create something. Key's open for another three. She made one earlier. And Poindexter with good blockout position.
She was going to make sure she got that. You saw her facial expression. She was going to get the ball or get a foul called.
Sundell with the drive. Can't get the finish.
And this is kind of the pace that we expected to see. Yoki Lee on the bench, Taylor's in from the K-State side. You want to see more of an up and down, up-tempo game.
Lawrence, Key with the offensive rebound, lost it going up, and it will go back to Kansas State. Fans wanted a foul, they don't get their wish. Kansas State will get the ball back. Here's that play.
Key gets the rebound, and we don't get to see the end of it. We'll take another look later.
Kansas State trailing by 2. They went into half up. Taylor ties the score.
Taylor kind of taking another page out of Yoki Lee's book. Does a good job of getting right underneath the basket, so when she catches the ball, all she has to do is go straight up.
Moore directing traffic out front. Strack steps through the double team and finishes.
Well, that's an interesting matchup too. Sundell down low, guarding Strack. Look at that post up.
Taylor inside again. Got loose. And one.
Yeah, you feel the energy over here. I'm just watching her Strack. Great job getting through. Double team, step right through with the finish. But this is what I like. Look at Taylor, goes up, gets her rebound with the finish. Strack gets called for that foul, but the energy from the bench and the team, what you build off of.
Taylor, perfect from the free throw line today. 7 of 7. Kansas State back in front by a point. Moore gets the screen. She'll shoot the 3. Short on the 3. Hassett goes to the deck to save it for Kentucky.
It's going to go. Every single possession matters. You got to stay in the moment, especially when you look at both of these teams fighting for that opportunity to go to the Sweet 16.
Well, this matchup has not disappointed. Lawrence buries the 3. Kentucky back out in front by 2. Poindexter. Another 3 for Poindexter. That is her 3rd 3 of the game.
Well, Poindexter, when she catches the ball, you know her first thought, if you are not right there and following her, she's going up for that jump shot.
Sundell gets way out on Lawrence this time. Hassett will shoot the 3. Walker pushing it. And a block called on Lawrence. Timeout on the floor, 3:59 to play. The Sweet 16 on the line. Let's check out Moving On, brought to you by United Airlines. USC and Juju Watkins rolling last night. They'll be the nightcap tomorrow night on ESPN. In fact, the winner of this game will play the winner of the USC-Mississippi State game. Several teams have scored 100 points in their opening game, including UConn. And basketball is alive and well at Iowa after Caitlin Clark. Here is Regional 4 Spokane. The winner of this game will get the winner of USC-Mississippi State in Spokane. Iowa, Oklahoma, South Dakota State, UConn, all here. And speaking of Oklahoma, they had 72 rebounds in their win yesterday.
Needless to say, you've got a big player like Reagan Beers down low, and we're looking at yet another one of those solid post players in Yoki Lee here for K-State. But Oklahoma just so good around the basket.
Walker gets the roll. and ties the score, puts Kansas State up by 2 points. And Lee will check back into the game. Reagan Beers, we were just talking about from Oklahoma, she was the player that both of the coaches would compare Yoki Lee to in terms of what they have each faced similar to Lee.
Still two totally different players, but what they bring to the game. And Deja Lawrence has gone on a roll. Second player for Kentucky to hit double digits, 11 points.
Lob down low to Lee, easy finish. How would you stop that, Tamika?
Well, you've watched Kentucky, and even the other day with Fairfield trying to figure out a way to front Yoki Lee, and the problem is you allow her to get closer to the basket. What you do get is you get that help side. I almost think you look at different defensive look.
Amor gets loose for the bucket. Georgia Amor has been held in check compared to what she did 2 days ago. Little reverse layup missed by Lee. And Amor defended by Walker today more often than not, just a lockdown defender. Key with a nice move inside.
Great heads-up play by Tiani Key not to go same side, but Yoki Lee making that rotation. She slices and forces Yoki to have to not foul.
Strack and Lee battling inside. Sundell will drive. Sundell passes up the three. Poindexter will shoot it. Good!
And great extra pass by Sundell. She was open for that minute, but she saw who was on her right side and made that quick pass to a wide open Poindexter.
All of Poindexter's makes have been threes today. Hassett. And Kansas State with a chance to increase the lead here. Final 2 minutes of the third quarter. Poindexter, heat check, missed that one.
You see Coach Book trying to calm down the Kentucky team. Wants to get set up to get a good shot.
Ball will stay on this end.
And take another look. Tiani Key does a good job. You see Yoki Lee make that rotation. She does a good job of going to the other side and forcing her to make that play. And Sundell, she's a nice wide open Poindexter. And when somebody has the hot hand, your responsibility as a point guard is to make sure you deliver the ball to them in their shooting path.
Poindexter's made 4 threes today. Sundell trying to deny that pass. Amor trying to take advantage of Walker being out of the game. Gives it up to Strack. Shot clock at 2. Silva. Yes!
Great heads-up play, recognizing the clock, and Glenn wide open on the break. Nobody out there. Knocked down 3.
First bucket of the game for Glenn, and it gives Kansas State the lead again.
Kentucky got caught maybe celebrating a little bit, not getting back on the defensive end, and K-State just taking advantage of it.
Kansas State has made 8 3-pointers in this game, Kentucky 6. Kentucky hasn't lost a game this year when they make 8 or more. And another jump ball inside. This time the ball will go back to the Wildcats of Kansas State.
Yeah, one thing with Georgia Amor, when she has the ball, you just see everybody on the defensive end collapse on her. A couple days ago, we saw her kind of being able to dribble through a lot of those double man coverages, and she hasn't been able to capitalize on that today.
Yeah, the focal point of every scouting report. Poindexter gets loose inside. Again, all of her makes have been threes so far. Here's Amor, open floor. Jets to the bucket and draws the foul. So Georgia Amor will go to the free throw line.
Jalen Glenn gonna get called for that foul. That'll be her 3rd foul. I love seeing Georgia Amor taking it hard to the basket. Always does a great job of seeing the floor, seeing her teammates, but there's critical times throughout the game where she realized that she has to take it.
Amor was named ESPN's Transfer of the Year this past week. Came with Kenny Brooks. Well, for the 5th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Amore makes one of two. Kenny Brooks and Georgia Amore have just such a heartwarming, inspiring relationship between a player and a coach. He calls Georgia his mini-me out on the floor.
I could just see them both in the film room watching tape.
Final seconds here of this third quarter. There's about a 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. That rims out. Tyler is bumped by Sides. And so Sides will get called for the foul with 4.2 left in the quarter. That's the first on Sides. Taryn Sides is tough, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, she is. But look at this rebound. Yeah, she clipped Tyler's foot just enough to make her fall. That's a tough fall, too. Good thing that Tyler's able to bounce back up.
4.2 seconds left. Kentucky will have to bring it the length of the floor. Final play of the third quarter. Amore launches. And just misses. So 10 minutes separate one of these teams between Lexington and Spokane. Who will survive and advance? 10 minutes away from one of these two teams advancing to Spokane to face the winner of USC and Mississippi State. That game will be played tomorrow night on ESPN. And it will be Kentucky's ball to start the fourth. Into Strack. Two players collapse on Strack. Almost forced a turnover, but Kentucky will keep it.
Well, you saw that happening right from the beginning. Strack started posting up, and you saw her just get surrounded. She leads all scorers with 20 points for the game so far.
Every player that has played for Kentucky has scored so far. Amore. Walker's back in the game defending her. Shot clock down to 5. Hassett's got to go. Hassett can't get the finish. Taylor with a rebound.
One of the things you love when you look at K-State, when you have balanced scoring like they have, and you look at Yoki Lee and Sundell, those are the stars that we talked about. But even more importantly, other players having to step up, and that is what you see. Poindexter and Taylor have been huge so far in this K-State game.
Yeah, they really have. Some of the supporting cast we talked about needing to step up today. Lee is on the bench right now. Sundell in and out. And a battle for that rebound. Taylor trying to get position for the rebound. Tiani Key gets called over the back. That's her third foul. Lee will come in now for Kansas State. Tiani Key made a 3 earlier in the game.
Well, Key has really been productive and more active in the second half. She struggled in foul trouble the first half, but you look at rebounding as well, not just the point, but rebounding and her impact just being on the floor.
Coach Brooks leaving her in the game right now. Entry pass down to Lee. Yoki Lee, good defense by the Kentucky Wildcats, but Glenn gets it back. Second chance, and Strack gets called for the hold inside.
Oh, Yoki Lee's
no,
gonna get called.
Yoki Lee, it is offensive foul on Lee, and that is number 4 on Yoki Lee.
And she just got in the game. Taylor's gonna have to come back in, but you see right there, that right arm has holding Strack. And both players competing really hard down low. Yoki gets called for that fourth foul.
Yeah, that's been a fun battle to watch today. Two of the top post players in the country, Strack and Lee, two of the top point guards in the country, and Amore, who has the ball, and Sundell for Kansas State. Amore looking for the screen, open for 3, good! Sundell on the other end.
Right on time for Georgia Amore. That gets her into double digits, and she had been struggling trying to find an open opportunity.
Poindexter with the answer. Back and forth we go, a 1-point game.
And that's Poindexter's 5th three-pointer of the game. She's in those corners just waiting for the ball to get rotated to her.
40% three-point shooter this year. Sundell. Ball fell right to her, throws it up the floor. Amor breaks it up. And the players colliding at half court. Good sportsmanship there between Amor and Poindexter.
Well, here it is. You see Amor looking and trying to just find some open space. Does a great job with that pullback right into a three-pointer. And Sundell passes it out to get rotated over to Poindexter. That has been the story of the game for K-State. They have continued to find those open players, and especially Poindexter.
Amor doesn't get the roll. Ball goes out of bounds. Will stay with Kentucky. Love the spirit in which this game is being played, Tamika, because they are battling hard. No shortage of intensity, but as soon as somebody falls down, more often than not, a player from the other team will help them up. Well, a lot of mutual respect.
Exactly, and it's the energy. Tiani Key gets the rebound, not able to finish.
Kentucky a 4 seed, Kansas State a 5 seed. Both teams have been ranked in the top 10 earlier this season. Lob down low to Taylor, and Taylor just does not get the finish. Remember, Lee's on the bench.
That was an ambitious pass right there. I think you hold the ball. Sundell just needs to hold it out and pull the ball back out and get set into an offense. Now you could tell when you look at the score, 57-56 K-State, but you look at it, every possession matters. Offensively, defensively, doesn't matter. So offensive rebound, hustle plays, where the ball goes in, it all matters.
9 on the shot clock here. Amor will inbound it under the Kentucky goal. To Strack, quick shot, off the mark. Both teams shooting 38% in this game, doing a good job on the other defensively. Kansas State's been shooting over 50% in their 3 postseason game. That includes their conference tournament. Good steal by Key.
Sundell lost it. Key, great job with their hands. Deja Lawrence.
Deja Lawrence with some magic herself.
Well, I swear, Amor and Lawrence have this connection that we don't see. And you see Amor make a pass, and then all of a sudden Lawrence comes out of nowhere.
Kansas State, sensing the crowd's enthusiasm, takes a timeout to get everyone on the same page as Kentucky up 1 now.
Well, Georgia Amor just so good at finding those open players, and Deja Lawrence coming out of nowhere for the finish. Gotta love it.
Let's check out today's game track, brought to you by Invesco QQQ. 6 ties, 14 lead changes. The SEC's Defensive Player of the Year, Clara Strack, with 20 points, and Serena Sundell just putting up her normally spectacular performance, 15 points and 9 assists. A couple other things sticking out right now, Tamika. Kentucky leads the nation in blocks, but Kansas State has 11, and Kansas State passing the ball so well.
Well, Kansas State just doing a good job. Yoki Lee gets the first look, not able to finish. Great pass by Sundell, and Kentucky off to the races.
Hassett passes up to 3. Kentucky up 1. Trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. The winner gets either Mississippi State or Juju Watkins and USC. Key off the mark on the baseline jumper. Sundell and Lee both on the floor for Kansas State. They're 2 All-Americans. The lob into Lee, and the result is another bucket for Lee.
Well, Kansas State has switched up their offense. They normally had a bigger guard on the left side. This time they put a smaller guard, which put Georgia Amor as that help side defense.
Another lead change.
And that'll be the 18th assist for K-State out of 21 made field goals.
Key takes it right at Lee, doesn't get the bucket, and Lee grabs the rebound. Kentucky got a good shot there. Lee with coming in off the bench a moment ago, 14 points now. Would you expect to see Lee and Sundell on the floor the rest of the way?
I definitely would, but Yoki Lee has to be careful. Another great basket down low, doing a good job of just getting her feet set underneath the basket. And she is hard to guard. She's been on and off in the game due to her foul trouble. But we'll see. Yoki Lee will continue to try to dominate down low when we come back.
Thanks, Kelsey. Georgia Amore with a shot out of the timeout. Kentucky took a timeout. What do you think they were going over in that timeout, Tamika?
Well, I think first off, you got 4 minutes left. Let's go all out for the next 4 minutes.
This was during the timeout. Georgia Amore talking to her team.
And this is leadership. Georgia Amore knows that this could be potentially her last game. And Tiana Key stepped up. That's a big shot for Key.
Cuts the lead to 1. And a timeout by Kansas State. 4 minutes left to play. Lee will be coming back into the game. They gave her a little breather after that timeout, and now getting her right back in the game.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if he goes offense, defense, and what that looks like. Obviously, Lee with 4 fouls right now. They can't afford to have her foul out this early in the game, so trying to manage those minutes.
Possession error right now favors Kansas State. Kansas State has 2 timeouts, Kentucky 3. Both teams with fouls to give. No one close to the bonus at the moment. It's just been a fantastic basketball game.
Yeah.
Exactly what we thought.
Exactly, and it going all the way down to the wire.
One item of note, Serena Sundell has become Kansas State's all-time assist leader. Both teams trying to get to the Sweet 16 for the first time in a long time. Three on the way. Glenn off the mark. Lee with the offensive rebound, missed it. Kentucky with a chance to retake the lead.
That ball dropped right in Lee's hand, not able to convert.
Glenn backs off Amore. And a timeout, Kentucky right now.
Back and forth, here you go. I think for Coach Brooks, just trying to get a play set. It looked like things got a little stagnant. And I talked earlier about the importance of possessions. That right now, when you're on the offensive end, you have to get a good shot. And I think for Kentucky, trying to figure out, is it something going for Amore, or is it something going for Strack? And we haven't seen Strack score in a while, so I can imagine trying to pull her out a little bit.
Both teams now with 2 timeouts. Yoki Lee, just her second game back after an extended absence from injury, has looked good once again.
Yeah, 16 points right now, 8 for 17, and when she gets positioned down low, you can't move her. She's done a really good job of moving the post players up. You see she gets the post on her back. If that help side is not standing there before she catches the ball, she is catching it and going right into her shot.
Walker back on Amore. Walker's done a good job on Amore today. Lawrence, nice! Wow! Deja Lawrence has made some big shots today for the Wildcats, and Kentucky leads by a point.
Now that left side free throw line is her shot. When she gets there, she's hard to stop.
Kentucky looking to build on the lead. Lawrence has had the hot hand. 3 on the way. Offensive rebound by Hassett and the finish.
Mary Hassett has stepped up big in this game. She's hit knocked down a couple of big threes earlier in the game, and now the offensive rebound.
Sundell lost it in the lane. It will go back to Kentucky off Sundell's foot.
Take another look at this. Lawrence misses the shot, but Amelia Hassett comes out of nowhere. Glenn does not box out her player, and by that time, the ball is up and in.
Hassett 7 rebounds, none bigger than that one. Lawrence to Key.
Tiana Key thought about it.
Shot clock under 10. Here's Key. Missed it, got her miss. And Key sticks it back up and in.
Well, Yoki Lee not wanting to get a foul call. She does not box out her own player. And offensive rebounds have set the tone for Kentucky.
The fans here enjoying a Kentucky 8-0 run, which has resulted in a 5-point lead. 2 minutes and 3 seconds left to determine who goes to the Sweet 16.
Well, look at this rebound right here. Key misses, gets her own shot. You see Yoki Lee basically ran right by her and did not put a body on her, worried about getting her 5th foul.
Tiani Key, 9 points and 11 rebounds today. And again, a lot of the role players, as we expected, have stepped up today and have made a huge impact in this game. There's 2 of them, Hassett and Key.
Well, it's good to see Amelia Hassett. She struggled up and down toward the end of the season, but had really stepped up as of late. Last game, knocked down a couple of threes. This game, being able to knock down a couple of threes. And those offensive rebounds in the last couple of possessions had really set the tone for Kentucky.
They're looking for Lee, but they'll shoot the 3. Sides, they couldn't get it inside. That goes out of bounds. No one touched it. It'll be Kentucky's ball. Kentucky did such a good job of denying that entry pass to Lee on that possession.
Definitely, and Sides was open. We saw her. She knocked down 4 threes in last game against Fairfield.
Lawrence penetrates, lost it on the way up. It'll go back to Kansas State.
Good defensive possession by K-State. Staying steady, not fouling. See Sundell staying down, and yes, Lawrence tries to get it. It goes off the strike.
Call on the floor is out of bounds to Kansas State. That play is under review.
So good officiating. Kevin Pethel, Michael Price, Meadow Overstreet are 3 officials. By the way, the officials also are rewarded with NCAA tournament performances. These are the best at all 16 sites. And good job at this stage in the game reviewing that call. 1:36 left to play. What do you expect from these last 96 seconds?
Well, I think it's going to continue to be up and down like we've seen it, but this is what they're looking at this last possession.
Out of bounds is confirmed, Kansas State ball.
Went off of Lawrence.
Yep.
Deja Lawrence from Greenville, North Carolina, is a star at Charlotte and has had a new role here at Kentucky, but she has meshed so well with Amor. It'll be Kentucky on defense, Kansas State with the ball.
Kansas State Sides is back in the game. And expect another look down low for Yoki Lee.
Sides, off the mark on the 3. Sundell with a big offensive board. Another 3 on the way. Pure by Jalen Glenn.
Offensive rebound. So Kentucky able to get a couple of offensive rebounds. K-State just getting those second chances. And it puts them down only by 2.
Kentucky up 2, approaching the final minute of regulation.
1 minute remaining.
Lawrence into Strack. Strack over Lee. And Lee with a great rebound.
Great defensive possession by Lee, not fouling. Again, Lee, number 50, has 4 fouls.
Poindexter for 3. Yes! Poindexter has put on a 3-point shooting clinic today, and that one gives Kansas State the lead with 38.2 seconds left.
The previous play is under review for timing.
Well, look at that ball moving right there, and Poindexter's shot goes up. She almost knew it was in right after it left her hand. You see her start running down the floor, and that is her 6th three-pointer of the game.
The game clock will be set to 39.8 seconds. Subs can enter if someone calls a timeout.
Poindexter, all of her made shots today have been 3-pointers. And Kansas State, who last year suffered a heartbreaking loss at this stage in the tournament to Colorado at home, They have never lost the memory of that disappointment. And this year, to get to the Sweet 16, they would have to do it on Kentucky's floor. So 1-point game here with just under 40 seconds to play.
Karen Side talked about that in the press conference, of having that feeling. And she said, and yes, 365 days-ish around, and now we get that opportunity. And she said she didn't mind leaving Kentucky with the feeling that they had last season.
Kentucky with the ball. Amor open for three. Yes!
Well, the stars will come out and shine tonight, and Georgia Amor has struggled to score in different pockets of the game, but as of late has stepped up now, 14 points, and that might be one of the biggest threes thus far of her career.
The heart of a lion. Georgia Amor buries the three to put Kentucky back in front.
The game clock is being set to 32.8 seconds.
Check out this timeout, the back and forth between Amor and Kenny Brooks.
And we said the mini-me part comes out, and I think if you're on both sides, Kentucky, you're talking about defense and making sure that you stay set on the defensive end. And if you're K-State, you're coming in, and what is the shot that you're looking at?
On paper, we felt like this would be one of the best games of the tournament. It is not disappointed. Lee is back in the game. Remember, she's playing with 4 fouls, 16.7 rebounds for the All-American. So it will be Kansas State's ball, 32.8 seconds left. Kentucky up to the Sweet 16 on the line. Sundell. Sundell, they take a timeout. Coach Jeff Mitty was not happy with what he was seeing. Took a timeout when Sundell broke to the basket there to get everybody on the same page.
Well, I think that's a smart timeout. You still have 15 seconds, and that's 2.1 off of the game clock. So you want to get the right look and the right play. And if it doesn't look right, you got to pull it out. I think Kansas State started getting sucked in. And if you're looking down low at Aoki Lee, you got to give her space. So you have to spread the floor. If you're going for a three-point, same thing. You got to space the floor and move the ball.
I think that's the beauty of this game, Tamika, especially for Kansas State. We have talked about Lee being so dominant in the post, but when you have Sundell out there, you have scoring threats really at all 3 levels.
Well, all 3 levels, but every single player that's on the floor right now for Kansas State can score. And so trying to find the right mix and who you want the ball. What's your first option? What's your second option? What's your third option? I would imagine right now your first option is Sundell or Lee and getting the ball in. And then on the other side, like you look at Poindexter, if you can't get one of those two, and then side, knocking down the three.
That was the final timeout for Kansas State. 17.1 seconds left in regulation. The Sweet 16 hangs in the balance. It's been a long time since either of these programs has been among the last 16 dancing in the NCAA tournament. It'll be Kansas State's ball. They will inbound it in front of their own bench. Sundell will be given the ball from our lead official, Kevin Pethel. Sundell gets it backsides. Poindexter. Sundell backing in on Hassett. Scores! It's a tie game. Timeout, Kentucky.
And I love the players and the way the plays have been designed as of late. Both coaches going to their star players to get the shot. Georgia Amor on the Kentucky side, and of course Sundell backing it down. And a nice turnaround jump shot. That is who you want the ball. You want the ball in her hands at this point in time of the game.
Sundell today, 17 points, 12 rebounds. What a fantastic game for her, Sundell.
Well, 17 points, 12 assists today. So Sundell continues not only to score, but we've seen her kind of take a little bit of that load off and distributing the ball, moving it around.
And for Kentucky right now, Tamika, they have 8 seconds to advance and score and try to put this game away.
And I think that's a lot of time when you look at just where we are in this game. You don't have to force a three-pointer. All you have to do is either get a layup, get to the basket, or get to the free throw line and have the opportunity. So I think right now, what you look at, Georgia Amore and Deja Lawrence are the two that have continued to produce, especially down the stretch, and then Claire Strack.
Poindexter there has made 6 threes today. It will be Kentucky's basketball out of this timeout. The winner will move on to face the winner of Mississippi State and USC in Spokane later this week. Hassett will inbound it for Kentucky opposite their bench on their side of the court. To Lawrence. Lawrence penetrates. Shot is blocked. Lee gets it. And we are going to overtime in Lexington with the Sweet 16 still hanging in the balance.
Extra basketball.
After 40 minutes, we are tied at 69. We go to overtime, but first, we go to the studio. Looking forward to bringing you this overtime. Both teams 1-0 this year when they had gone to an extra period. Kentucky got a massive win in overtime of their arch rival Louisville earlier this season. And Kansas State beat Iowa State in one of their quality wins this season in overtime back in late January. But today, Tamika, what's going to be the difference in these final 5 minutes?
Well, one thing that K-State has done a great job of is managing Aoki Lee's time on the floor. She is the only player in the game right now with 4 fouls, so that'll be something to look at from the K-State side. Kentucky has a few players that have 3 fouls, but I think the biggest thing right now is we will probably see another back and forth 5 minutes as both teams just continue to compete.
Georgia Amore, 14 points, leading her team, hoping this is not her final game in a Kentucky uniform. And her Aussie, Millie Hassett, both players from the land down under, still on the floor. Kentucky going with their starting 5 that they began the game with. They have used the same starting 5 the entire season. And Lee and Key jump it up. It'll be Kansas State with the first possession. And that pass just goes out of bounds. A little too hot for Glenn to handle. And a turnover to start overtime for Kansas State. That has not been a problem today for either team. Both teams have taken care of the basketball. It's been a high-quality game.
Yeah, Glenn trying to get the ball in. She had started passing to Lee before she had actually caught the ball.
Strack launching the 3. Off the mark. Key with the offensive rebound to Amore. And Amore off the mark on the 3 as well. Both of those 3s look good, but just did not go down.
Right now is the time where you have to dig in deep. Overtime, through regulation, your body is already going, but now you have to, you almost have to dig deeper. Not almost, you have to dig deeper, and on those shots, you got to stay set and be ready to shoot.
Good denial defense that time by Strack. It'll be Kansas State's ball. Sundell and Lee looking at each other. Lee gives her the screen. Sundell. And then Lee sprints back in. Almost had the offensive rebound. One of the officials saying they're unsighted. And our lead official, Kevin Pethel, comes in and will give Kentucky the ball.
Well, Coach Smitty's upset because he felt like that was a foul, if nothing else. And as you see Aoki Lee fall down, I don't necessarily see the foul.
Yeah, I think it was a good no call.
Yeah.
They got it right. 4 minutes to play in overtime. Winner of this moves to the Sweet 16.
We haven't seen Strack score in a little bit, so I would imagine that they would try to get the ball to her.
They did. Off the mark on the 3. And Key in the right place at the right time with a big bucket.
And that's huge. That gets another Kentucky player in double digits, and Tiani Key has been dominating. She has a double-double, 11 points, 13 rebounds.
Sundell drives baseline, scores. We're tied again.
Yeah, Sundell, just so much fun to watch. Offensively, she can create any shot that she wants to for herself and or for her teammates.
19 points for Sundell, along with the 12 assists. She's become Kansas State's all-time assist leader in this game. Strack will post up Lee. Steps under, gets the finish. Remember, Lee has 4 fouls.
And see Coach Mitty want to make the opportunity to keep Lee in there because she's such a big presence.
Glenn open for 3, and that is good. Dangerous to leave Glenn open, and she makes Kentucky pay, and now Kansas State with the 1-point lead.
Well, it's interesting. Glenn and Poindexter have just been great and have literally gotten their dinner, their lunch, everything served to them on a platter, because when they catch the ball off that help side, they are wide open.
The passing in this game has just been spectacular. On the money. Amor buries it from the top of the key. It's a 2. Length of the floor pass to Glenn. Good recovery by Amor on D. Walker, though, left open. Missed the layup. And Lawrence fights, throws it up to Amor. Amor to Key.
That was a play right there. Bobbled balls and all and trying to figure it out. Kentucky, but Amor with the nice pass to Tiana Key.
The wizardry of Georgia Amor. Poindexter for 3. Yes! Are you kidding me? 7 threes for Poindexter.
Unbelievable right now. Kansas State 13 threes. Poindexter 7 of those. Glenn and Sundell each with 3.
We are tied in overtime. Winner moves to the Sweet 16 to face USC or Mississippi State. Amor, another big bucket. And a timeout taken. The stars are shining right now in overtime.
Well, that's what you want to see when you go down the stretch, and it all starts with Amor to Key up for 2. Key, great job with finishing, but on the flip side, K-State continues to dominate their passing, finding the open players, but of course, you got to have another star come back, answer the call.
Well, one streak is going to be broken today. Both these teams are undefeated this season when they score 70 or more points. 1:09 left to play in overtime, and the margins have been so thin in this game.
Well, it's been so much fun to watch from the sideline. I can only imagine how they feel as players, but whoever steps away from this game and head to the Sweet 16, you know, on both sides, everything has been laid on the line, and I can't, you go down the box score, and every player that is on the floor has literally played the best that they can play. Now it's a matter of, for the next minute and 9, continuing to leave it all on the floor.
Kentucky has led for more minutes than Kansas State in this game. The possession arrow will favor Kentucky coming out of this timeout. Both teams were making the case to host Kansas State. Felt like they had a resume worthy of hosting. They've had to go on the road to face Kentucky. Kansas State looking for the Sweet 16 as well as Kentucky. It's been a while. Poindexter has just been lights out today, shooting and defending.
Well, she has stepped up to the call today, and Poindexter's been a lot of fun to watch, but when that ball rotates around, she stepped up every single time that ball leaves her hand. Even over here, I know it's going in. She lets it fly and starts running down on the defensive end offensively, but it's also been the defense. She's stepped up. She's had quite a few blocks. She's gone behind screen, jumped over her own player, and blocked some shots.
What a dramatic turnaround for Poindexter between Friday's game against Fairfield and today against Kentucky. 7 of 14 behind the three-point line. Overall, she's 7 of 16. So she has not made a shot other than a 3 today.
Yeah, so you would imagine that if you're going to run her off of anywhere. You're going to run her off that three-point line and force her to get a two. But the help side that's digging in because of Aoka Lee, all of the attention is on her down low. So that post player that's guarding the opposite wing, which has happened to be Poindexter or number 3 Glenn, they've been able to benefit.
.109 left to play in overtime. Sundell to the corner, Poindexter, another one! Poindexter with another heroic three. Officials conferring right now. Looks like they may give Kansas State the ball. Let's see.
They're giving it to Kansas State, but they want to review it just to make sure.
The out of bounds was under review. The call on the floor is Kansas State ball.
Again, good to take a look at this and get it right with under a minute to play and so much on the line. Kevin Pethel, our lead official, Meadow Overstreet over there with him. Aoka Lee and Serena Sundell. And then over on the Kentucky bench, desperately trying to figure out what to do here. Let's take a look. Georgia Amore had the ball. Excellent defense by Glenn.
Oh, it's hard to see.
Again, the call on the floor is Kansas State's ball.
Well, you see Amore's arm right there, but both players have their hands on the ball.
About to get our decision.
The out of bounds on the floor will stand Kansas State ball. The game clock will be set to 55.9 seconds.
So 0.4 of a second put on the clock. Kentucky now will be on defense. For Kansas State, a 1-point lead here.
Now that was a great defensive possession for K-State, and it allows them to get another possession.
Again, Poindexter with another unbelievable three to give them this lead. Lee catching the inbounds pass.
Trying to go down low, Sundell against Key.
Sundell blocked by Tiani Key, but it falls right to Kansas State.
Still plenty of time for K-State, trying to go into Aoka Lee.
And Lee misses the shot.
Great defensive possession right there, Tiani Key.
3-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Amore off the mark. Battle for the rebound, goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Kentucky with 17.9 seconds left to play. Shot clock is off. Kentucky ball down by a point.
Aoka Lee dribbles the ball out of bounds. Makes it real easy for the referee to see. Kentucky will get another opportunity.
And they're going to go back and look at the clock again. Kansas State up 1. It'll be Kentucky's ball.
Set the game clock to 18.7 seconds. 18-7, it is Kentucky ball.
So just under a full second put on the clock for Kentucky right now. Tamika, what do you expect?
Well, I think Kentucky are down by 1. Use the clock. You want to have the last shot no matter what. And I'm going to one of my stars. You're going to go Georgia Amore. You're going to go Deja Lawrence or Clara Strack. The beauty of both teams, honestly, but when you're looking at strictly Kentucky, you got 3 players automatically that you can go to, and Tiani Key and Amelia Hassett have done some great things tonight as well.
Amore shoots the 3. Off the mark, Lawrence gets the rebound. Back to Amore. Amor to Hassett. Hassett for three. Key with the offensive rebound. Another chance for Kentucky. Jump ball. It'll be Kentucky's ball.
Jump ball goal.
Coach Minnie and staff Baylor trying to call a timeout over here.
So Kentucky will get it with 3.2 seconds left and still a chance to win. Amor will inbound it to Strack. Strack back to Amor. Amor. Game over. Kansas State is going to the Sweet 16.
And what an unbelievable game. Both teams left everything out there on the line. And Georgia Amor got a great look at the basket, not able to finish, and Kansas State will go away.
They
Sweet 16.
They erased the memories of that heartbreaking loss last year at this stage to Colorado, and they are still dancing in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2002, and Yoki Lee's career will continue. And for Kentucky, the final time we will see Georgia Amor, the class act she is, all smiles right now. And what love and respect she gets from everyone in the game.
Yeah, between her and Deja Lauren, two players that we're going to miss seeing in this Kentucky uniform. Got a good look. Georgia Amor just not able to finish. And Kansas State, great job all the way down to the wire.
And an overtime win for Kansas State. 80-79. Kansas State will play the winner of Mississippi State and USC. That game will be tomorrow night on ESPN. For my Hall of Fame partner, Tamika Catchings, James Davidson, Brad Wilson in the truck, David Kaplan, statistician, I'm Sam Gore saying so long. Kansas State is still dancing.